Hi, everyone. Thanks for listening. I'm the founder and CEO of WineChain. So a little bit more blockchain and wine this morning. So our approach to use blockchain for the fine wine market and the wine market in general is quite different than what you heard before. So we are veteran founders on e-commerce and wine in general, and we have an approach of the problem of fine wine, which is from a consumer side and on a winery side, solving the problems of the market. Mainly the counterfeit problem is one problem. There's also one of the biggest problems for consumers is liquidity. Liquidity when you own a wine cellar, liquidity when you basically want to offset your wines. Most of the people in the market actors are claiming liquidity. The reality is that usually when you want to sell your wine, you have to sell it to merchants and you lose 20 to 30% because there's no such a marketplace as a secondary wine market in general. For wineries, more or less, they're losing a lot of their fair share because the growing value usually leaves a lot of money on the table for all the middlemen. And in general, the growing value, they keep only 25% of what they really produced. So that's a problem. They also are luxury brands today, so they don't have direct relationship with the consumer, which is obviously what they want to build. The market opportunity is for the fine wine market, the top luxury wines is 20 billion a year. And the trade of those wines is 100 billion. It's growing fast because that's the fastest segment. As you can see in the luxury space in general, NFTs are applied as loyalty programs, as tracking, as ownership, and also as tradability. So this is, of course, in the winemaker as a fine wine market, as opposed to the luxury brands. The fine wine market is much more fragmented. There's about 1,000 families owning the top 2,000 wineries in the world. While in the luxury space, it's more like the top 10 who own 70%. Most of them are French. 2/3 of the market are French, and me and my co-founders are French. So our basically flow is to create mint, a digital token, a digital twin for every case, which goes out of the winery and goes on WineChain. So by doing that, we solve actually the authenticity problem because the wine doesn't move anymore while it's traded. So it's only sourced from the winery. And then secondary sales can happen through the resale of the digital twin. When the token is sold on the platform, the wineries get royalties also only on the profit, on the growing value. So there's basically a full interface for consumers where they can build their cellars. It's through a wallet and through those tokens. They can manage that cellar, they can trade, they can hold, and they can also ship. The marketplace for the wineries is a full CRM where they can basically release new releases and globally trade their wines. So our vision is basically to build new global marketplace which has embedded liquidity for the world market. The secondary market of fine wine today doesn't have such a marketplace. And so that you can finally, as a consumer, don't lose the value just because you have the wines are stored, they're perfectly sourced. And so anybody buying from you know that the wine is absolutely pristine condition. And that's supposed, of course, to have a logistic side of it, which we built as well, so that we ship now from all over the world in 56 countries. So our unique advantages are basically, we come from the winery world. My co-founders are some of the very top winemakers. We are supported by them. They financed us as well. We are also have on board the second biggest logistics group in the world, CMA CGM, which help us build the logistics solutions. And we built the marketplace as a Web3 play with royalties to winemakers, all in blockchain technology, and particularly for the trading of the smart contracts. And we do fiat and crypto payments for your wine cellar. So more than 100 brands now of the top 500 producers have joined, and many of them have actually also financed us. The main key here of the VC play is the flywheel effect. So it's like a classical two-sided marketplace, but the flywheel effect is enhanced by the secondary marketplace. So basically wineries getting royalties mean that they collect more money on the go on the wine as the wine value grows, and which means, of course, they want to put more wine in the system. And for consumers, collectors, investors, it's better the same way because once you get the liquidity, which nobody else has, because you can resell some of your investment, obviously you want to buy more. My team is my chief winery officer is one of the most well-known French guy in wine. He was best sommelier in the world in France. And the rest of my team is of ex-Amazon managers. My co-founder Xavier has been the CEO of Amazon Europe for 7 years. Marc Perrin is also one of the most famous winemakers in the world. He's the one who did the Miraval Rosé with Brad Pitt. And these are all backers, of course, of the company. So we've raised 6 million so far. We're raising this extension of round. We want a little bit more Web3 capital. This is why to prepare our token launch. So this is why I'm pitching here in front of you. So we already have a couple of Web3 VCs, such as Fabric Ventures, and we're backed by a lot of the owners of the top wineries. Thanks a lot for listening. Here's the way to join me. And of course, I will add my Telegram in the chat.
Just to be clear, so the idea is that by holding the token, holding the wine in a good cellar, that it doesn't have to change hands before it goes to the final consumer. But in the end, there's gonna be a final consumer, right? That's gonna physically hold the wine, right? So how does that happen?
So we ship. So basically, the idea is that when the wine doesn't move, it keeps the value, it keeps the authenticity, right? Which is guaranteed through the fact that you can track on the ledger that it was sold by the winery in the first place, and we keep the wine in a very secure facility. The other reason is not only because of counterfeit. The other reason is because perfect storage. If you ship the wine somewhere, if you ship it to you, you start to lose value because first you will have to prove that it was stored perfectly, right? And you might lose trust of the authenticity. And the other problem is how can you sell it to, let's say, if you're in the US and some Japanese guy wants it, how are you going to ship it to him, right? It's going to be very complicated that he trusts you, that you're going to ship it. It's almost impossible. So this is why then you go to an auction house or to whatever, where you lose 20 or 30% of the value. With our system, we built the trust in between, thanks to the ledger, of course, thanks to the blockchain, but also thanks to the fact that the wine doesn't move. So to go back to your question, once you burn and ship your NFT, corresponding to the bottle, then of course it's up to you. Our stuff stops, right? So there are a lot of companies trying to do QR code ships and whatever. So far, our survey, our understanding is that a lot of people don't want that. A lot of consumers don't want to be tracked with a lot of ships in their cellar. A lot of the winemakers, a lot of top winemakers we work with don't want it either. And those who want it, there's like 12 different technologies. So we are working with some of them to establish a standard to be able to follow the bottle afterwards for some of them, for those who want. But this is not something which is going to go abroad in the close future, and it doesn't solve the problems of the market. So the way we operate is basically we solve it by organizing the marketplace. And the other thing is it's a service. It's a seller in the cloud. So when you buy wine now, you're going to drink, even if you're not going to sell it, right? You're just going to drink it. You're going to drink it because you love that bottle. Where are you going to drink it in 10 years? In which house? Are you going to move? So this is also a way to, completely secure everything for you.
And how can you enforce that the royalties will be paid?
It's part of the smart contract, and it's very clear when you buy it. It's like, very bold and big. So when the trade happens on the marketplace, it's automated.
But people can transfer the token, like I can give it to my brother.
So far, it's custodial on the marketplace. So what we're working on right now is to make it, of course, be able to fly in between wallets and outside of WineChain, as per se, while being able to collect the royalty at a certain point. One of the ways to do that is at the shipping moment.